Will 2025 be the year that you sell your Flower Mound home and buy another one? Is it a great decision? Well, today we're going to break down what's happening, our predictions nationwide and at the Dallas Fort Worth level, and then locally at the Flower Mound level. Then we're going to break down our 5 predictions. And at the end, we're going to talk about if you want to buy or sell, what one thing or 2 things, maybe even 3 that you need to know. Well, I'm Molly Chance, and this is my husband and partner in business, Bret Chance. We've sold almost 120 million in real estate. And so we've had some experience. We've learned a lot, and we want to share that with you so that you can make safe and smart decisions when it comes to buying, selling, or even investing in real estate in the Flower Mound area or any of the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. So let's dive right in. Let's go to that 35,000 foot view nationwide. What's going on this year?
Well, as far as the housing prices, there's 22 economists or predictions that are out there currently. All of them are ranging as far as the home appreciation rate going from 0% all the way up to 5.5%. So there's definitely some wide variety with that, but basically it's averaging out to around 3% nationwide. Now, this is definitely a slower percentage of appreciation rate of the 3 to 4%, which is a healthy appreciation rate. Now, compare that to the COVID market where we saw double-digit growth, which we've never seen before like that. That's definitely was not healthy, not sustainable. So the market is just going back to a more healthy market for everyone involved. Because, in the COVID market, the pricing was going so high so quickly, it just took everybody off guard and was not sustainable and not healthy for anybody.
Okay, so home prices, we're going, getting back to more of a slower pace, but we're still increasing. Mm-hmm. We're not necessarily going down. That's average nationwide. That's not, not every single place across the nation is going to see that kind of appreciation. Some will go higher. Some may, kind of just lay flat, and some may go down a little bit. Let's talk about mortgage rates.
Well, as far as mortgage rates, that's really a big indicator of what the housing market is going to do. Right now, the feds are really not indicating that they're wanting to reduce it right now. However, the economists are telling us right now, they're thinking, okay, maybe down to 6.5%, maybe by about mid-year. Now, it's going to remain to be seen how all this is going to pan out with the new administration that's in place. There potentially could go a little bit lower than that. The thing of it is that we don't, personally, I don't want to see a big drop, because then we're going to see this big, huge of demand buyers coming in. And then we're going to see, the multiple offers, or a ton of multiple offers again. And we're going to see the home prices going, jumping up that much more higher to possibly an unhealthy market that we saw during COVID. I don't know if it'd be to that extreme, because we're not going to be in the 3 and 4%. I don't ever see that again, because that's definitely not healthy to be in that range. But there's definitely going to be some changes, I do believe, coming up. It just kind of remains to be seen, but I do believe it will be positive change. It may look ugly up front, but it's going to be positive at the end of the day.
Right, and the reason that if they were to go too low, say below 5% range, where we still don't have, and we're going to talk about this, inventory, mm-hmm. We still have a shortage of inventory. So that's the problem. It's about supply and demand.
Well, exactly. And the thing of it is that, like, for example, when our parents were buying homes back in the 80s, they were jumping for joy if they got 15 to 18% interest rates, because interest rates were just so high then. So, when we average all the interest rates out from the history of the U.S., the average interest rate is just over 8%. So we're still below the national average, sitting around 7% right now. So, and I think a lot of buyers have gotten, to the new normalcy. Hey, that's just what it is. And there's definitely some strategy that can be used in purchasing right now to help with that as well. And I talk about that later on.
So we mentioned inventory. Let's talk about what we're looking at this next year for inventory. Are we going to have more housing?
Basically, as far as the inventory level, right now what they're projecting, we'll see about a 12 to 15% increase of homes coming on the market, whether it's new construction or pre-existing. Now, that's a good thing for the buyers, giving them more to choose from, but also more competition for the sellers to compete against when they go to sell their home.
Okay, so we've talked about the national, what's going on at that 35,000 foot level. Let's jump into the Dallas Fort Worth housing market. What are we going to expect to see?
Well, the DFW market, we're definitely in a world of our own, no question about it. For so many different reasons, our economy is so strong here. In fact, we're the eighth strongest economy in the world, and they're projecting we may go to number 7, pass up Switzerland. So, with that being said, the economy is so strong, it's going to definitely keep the housing market very, very strong with that. So right now, what the experts are predicting is that we'll see about a 3 to 5% appreciation rate in the homes in the DFW market.
Which is a little bit higher than that national average. Honestly, I think we might even see higher than that. And definitely, we know that real estate is local. You can't just be generic and go, well, here's what's happening nationwide. Here's what's happening in all of Dallas Fort Worth, because we see those pockets like we're going to talk about with Flower Mound. It's, Flower Mound does not have the same market as, say, Frisco. Frisco doesn't have the same market as McKinney, South Lake. So,
well, exactly, because we're just looking, doing the research for all of this. We're looking at the map as far as the number of building permits. Far as out in Weatherford, that's a huge hotbed of building permits are going on. Same with, in, Forney or down in Kaufman County, southeast of Dallas, and then also up in Collin County as well in the north end, because those are just huge areas are forcing to be grow right now because that's where the next land is to develop. So, really it's not just the economy, but, definitely that affects as far as your job growth and all that. And also still the great migration, even though it feels like the great migration has slowed down, but we're still having about 400 people a day calling Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex home. And out of that, about 80 to 100 people a day are calling Denton County home. So we're still seeing such a great influx of people coming in.
well, let's talk about how those mortgage rates are going to affect the DFW housing market.
So far as the interest rates for the DFW area and all that, far as like I was saying, buyers have kind of gotten accustomed around that 7%. Now the thing of it is we saw the interest rates drop just below that 7%, and then that we saw, a 33% increase in mortgage applications coming in to the lenders, because there definitely is a huge pent-up buyer demand. People are wanting to invest in real estate, which is awesome because we definitely believe in that. Because you've got a graph there showing, okay, as far as the pent-up demand or people that are wanting to move this year is up by 15%.
Right. So I pulled this graph. A record percent of people are planning to buy a home this year. So it's 15% expected this year. Last year it was 11. The year before it was 10%. It's been in that 9 to 11%. There's people that have been saying, "Oh, I'll just wait. I'll just wait." We see everywhere, especially on YouTube, people get likes and clicks to those scary videos that say DFW is going to crash, the market's going to crash, don't buy anything. We even get comments from people saying, "Oh, the market's going to crash, I would never buy." And it saddens me, honestly, because it's not based on factual information. We just don't see any of that. Back when we were in business back in the Great Recession, we know what it looks like. So those same conditions that caused all that, we don't have right now.
100%. And it's such a different market. And besides that, I was just talking with somebody that is looking to buy, and they're saying, yeah, we're trying to time the market. And they thought about buying a few years ago. Well, they never did. And so now they're finding, okay, we really need to buy. And so unfortunately, they're trying to time the market, and it just didn't work because none of us can time the market. And so, the question is, when's the best time to buy real estate? Well, it was yesterday. All right, when's the best time to buy? Today. So like the predictions and all that, your investment that you're making right now is definitely smart and safe and to move forward for the family.
How is inventory and market activity in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? How is that affecting people's decisions to buy and sell right now?
Now, as far as the inventory level and demand in the DFW area is still very, very solid, even though it may not feel like it. Because right now, between the 4 counties of Dallas, Tarrant, Collin, and Denton, we're all sitting around 3 to maybe 4 months inventory, meaning that if not another home sells, then it'll take about 3 to 4 months to sell everything. That's what we'll call a seller's market, anything below 5 months of inventory. So the days of the market are definitely increasing. And I think a lot of that's just because, one, it's seasonality of the time of year right now, but also every time we have a presidential election, we see everybody really kind of like pull back, trying to figure, okay, who's going to get elected. And then after the election, here we go again.
Really, no matter what market you're in, it comes back to your own personal decisions of what you need to do, because people sometimes have to move. There's a job relocation. They want to get kids in a different school. Like, we see people move at every time of the year because it's based on their personal needs.
Yeah, or family situations change, whether you've got, a parent moving in with you or expanding family. I mean, there's a whole host of things that go on that affect our lives.
Before we jump into our Flower Mound real estate market predictions for 2025, I wanted to ask, have you signed up for our Flower Mound's weekly market snapshot and featured home email? It's something you do not want to miss out. We show you the most recent homes for sale and those with most recent price reductions. You can sign up at the link below so that you don't miss out. Now, let's get local and talk about Flower Mound. What do we see is going to happen in the Flower Mound real estate market this year?
As far as the Flower Mound market, this is all price points, all type of properties. We're down 8% from this time last year. Although when we look at the 5-year trend, we're still up $250,000, during that time frame. So it's just kind of like the stock market. It's got some ebb and flow, but over time it's going up for sure. Now, also, every price point is going to be acting differently. Anything from 500 and below is up 4% from this time last year. And then from 500 to 750, it's down 6.1%. Then from 750 to a million, you're up 3.3%. Then a million or more, they're up 11.1%. And I think a lot of that is all the new construction that's going on in that upper price point is driving that market as well. Now, one of the other things we look at is, okay, as far as how much are homes selling for from their original asking price. Right now, they're selling for about 96% of the original asking price.
Which is a far cry from, I think at our highest point, we saw homes selling at 7% above listing price in Flower Mound. I was stunned by that, but that was back in the heated market that we had. So 96% of list price may seem like it's really low, but it's really about average.
Yeah, it's really about average. And then, right now it's taking an average about 60 days for a property to sell here in Flower Mound. Of course, again, depending what price point, things like that. But right now we've got 1.7 months of inventory on the ground. So we're still in a deep seller's market. It just feels different because of our days on the market are expanding. So, that is proving the point right now. We've got a lot of pent-up buyer demand that's ready to go once those interest rates do drop.
Well, I would say also it's based on the type of properties we're seeing. And we will definitely get into that, seeing homes that, are needing updates versus the ones that are updated, things like that, which we'll definitely get into.
Yeah.
Which brings us into inventory and market activity.
Really, we're up 6% from this time last year, as far as just overall activity, which is a good thing.
Number of homes for sale.
And the sweet spot, or the demand that we're seeing right now, is that 750,000 to a million, because you've got that move up buyer of, okay, my family is growing, or whatever decisions going on in life that they're needing to make, they're needing to upgrade. So that's a really stiff number or area to be in, but it's still very doable for sure with that.
Right. So that's definitely that sweet spot. We're not seeing as many homes on the market right now in that price point, and the ones that we are seeing, a lot of them need updates.
Exactly. And right now, as far as the buyers are out there right now, 30% of transactions will be new construction because they're busy. They don't want to mess with the updates. They want something move-in ready. So that's why we see a lot of new construction going on. However, the homes that are sitting there that are, you'll see price reduction after price reduction, or they're sitting there a really long time, they're needing those key updates done in order to get the property sold.
So that could be also something for a buyer to look at, because most people are going to pass those by and go,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the headache of fixing this house up, and I'm not going to pay that price for it and then have to turn around and put money into it. But that could be a little secret spot for the buyers that are willing to do so, is go in and look at it. If you love the floor plan, I mean, if you like the neighborhood and everything, look at what needs to actually be done.
Mm-hmm.
Does it just need maybe new countertops in the kitchen, the bathrooms, maybe just paint on the wooden cabinets and things like that? Does it just need some new flooring? Just a paint job sometimes, because a lot of times people will go in, and studies have proven they're averaging out, say, 3 times what something will actually cost to fix or update. So if you're looking in that price point, maybe look at it a little differently and go, maybe I should go take a look at this house in person that I've seen online and just see. Maybe you do like the floor plan, maybe you like the neighborhood, what actually needs to be done, and maybe do those updates over time, since obviously we've seen that the price appreciation is going to keep going. So that's something to consider.
Well, most definitely. In fact, I was talking to a client the other day that he did a lot of updates to the house and all that. And he was kind of feeling down about the amount that he'd spent on it. And I ran some numbers for him. I said, yeah, I said, even though you spent this amount, I said, the appreciation rate for the 5 years you've owned your home has definitely more than paid for those upgrades that you have done.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay, I didn't think about it that way. So yeah, it's let the market, take care of that for sure. Which really, it comes back to our point of the homes that have the modern updates. They're still moving fast, and we're seeing multiple offers, on those properties. Because in fact, I've got one buyer that we've been working with that the home had been updated, and it was a unique property. However, we had to go against 8 offers on that, and that was in December of 2024. And so that means that when they're priced right and they show well, they're still driving the market for sure.
Let's get into what we're expecting, our predictions for the market in Flower Mound for 2025. What's out of our 5 predictions? Let's jump into that.
So I guess really the biggest one is home prices. Now, I do see the home prices continue to go up, probably about 2 to 4% this year. Now, it's definitely a slower pace what we've been seeing, but it's a more healthy of a pace.
Prediction number 2, I say that, mortgage rates are going to drive buyer urgency. I completely believe, and I have read too many statistics and market experts talk about, if we see those mortgage interest rates jump down to, say, below 6.5, 6, definitely below that, we're going to see all that pent up buyer demand for Flower Mound homes. They're going to be jumping in. So I say be prepared for that.
Well, exactly, because really case in point of that is, was it 2 years ago when the interest rates just absolutely just skyrocketed overnight, and then the buyer pool totally dwindled down, because at that point they were not able to qualify for what they thought they could purchase, so it limited that buyer pool. So by going the interest rates down, we're going to see a bigger buyer pool coming into the market, and it's going to get interesting quick. So really now is prediction number 3 as far as inventory. I do believe it's going to remain tight. However, like what we're talking about, the ones that are in great communities with great amenities and are in great shape, those are really going to be driving the market on those.
Our 4th prediction is we believe move-up buyers are going to really dominate this market in Flower Mound. Couple of reasons I say that. One is we've had people move in from all over in the big migration that came into Flower Mound. We had families moving in from all over the country, and they were just at that point in time trying to get a house.
Mm-hmm.
So they were putting offers in on something just to get their family moved. And maybe it wasn't. After they've been in a couple years, they're finding out it doesn't really fit what they need. They need something maybe a little bit bigger on maybe a safer street for their kids to play on. Those people are now looking at, okay, let's go buy the house that we truly want.
Mm-hmm.
We're also seeing just growing families in general that are saying, okay, our family's growing, we need a bigger space. So I'm predicting that those move-up buyers are going to be driving the Flower Mound market.
I agree 100%, because anytime you're in a hot market, the buyer's just like, hey, we just got to get into something. We just got to get a roof over our head. So once they live in it, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's really not working. So let's go do something different at this point for sure. All right, so now it's our last prediction. Prediction number 5 is pricing on listings are the most critical. Even though, okay, we're still in a tight market right now, but regardless, the pricing has to be spot on, matching the condition of the property to be able to get the property sold, reduce your days on the market, and potentially reducing the risk of selling to less than market value because your property's been out on the market way too long.
Right. And so even though we still have limited inventory, what we were seeing is we had limited inventory. So people were, sellers were putting this crazy price on there and they were getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not seeing that. Yes, we have limited inventory, but buyers are saying, nah, I'm not paying that for that house. Forget it. That's why we're seeing so many houses sit on the market, decreasing their price. And so they're not willing, we're just not seeing those buyers willing to pay that price anymore. It's got to be priced based, on the market and the condition of the home for sure.
So it's definitely adjusting expectations on the buyer side and adjusting expectations on the seller side of what it's going to take to get buyer and seller in agreement to get a property sold.
With all this being said, what if you want to buy or sell this year, what should you do?
Well, first and foremost, on the buy side is definitely get with a great local mortgage lender. Go ahead and get that pre-approval letter so that way you don't miss out when that property comes on the market. You're like, hey, we can go ahead and act. Plus, you've got all your ducks in a row to know, okay, do I need to sell my current home first before I can qualify for that new loan? Or, what are the other options available to go ahead and be able to buy first and then turn around and sell? And also, not only get just pre-approval, pre-qualification, but go all the way through pre-approval process. And what that means is the mortgage lender is going through, basically they're underwriting or going through all of your loan documents, making sure you're rock solid. And the benefit for you to go ahead and do all that is it reduces the time it's going to take to close on your new home, which if you're in a multiple offer situation, that can be one of the leading things to help get your offer accepted.
Right. And if it were me and I wanted to, sell my home and buy another home in Flower Mound this year, first of all, I would start, right now, if I'm not ready to go just yet, I would start decluttering because we've been here for 5 years now and we've accumulated a lot of stuff. I would start, decluttering, getting rid of, as a matter of fact, we are doing that right now, getting rid of things that we don't need to make our house look bigger, to have more space, because that's what buyers want right now. And I would start cleaning it out. I would clean it up because you can't really underestimate, a home that's just been really well cleaned. So I can't tell you how many times we've walked into homes and they had, dusty baseboards and, air filters and things like that, which really puts in the mind of a buyer, has this home been well maintained? I would declutter, I would clean it up, and I would start fixing anything that I know needs to be fixed. Because, look at your house the way that you would look at it if you were a buyer. I'm a firm believer in, sowing that seed of making your house the best you can possibly make it for that next buyer, because you're going to be in that buyer's shoes when you go to buy your new home. And, I think you can't go wrong when you make that commitment to make your home a great place, a great value for the person that's going to come in and buy it. It's that sowing that good seed of you're going to get it back in return. So if I were buying and selling right now, I would get busy on that, even if I wasn't ready to go like today. You can't underestimate that whole getting the preparation period, whether you're going to buy and or sell.
For sure. First and foremost, to be able to have a strategy plan in place before, you're ready to, pull that trigger.
Yeah, if you're thinking about selling your Flower Mound home this year or buying a home in Flower Mound, now is the time to strategize and get that plan in place. As a matter of fact, if you would like to have a strategy call with us, you can actually click on the link below and we'll be glad to help you come up with a great plan.